Welcome back to the garden, and today we are going to be making one of our favorite summertime dishes, sauces, condiments. I'm not really quite sure what it is, but it's pesto. And for the main base that we're going to use for our pesto is going to be basil. So I have two different basil plants here that we planted. Genovese basil, which is one of the most popular common basil plants in North America, and then Emily basil. And we haven't tried that one, so I'll be curious to know if there's any difference. But I'm gonna harvest this and then we'll go into the kitchen and we will start making the pesto. There's something about fresh basil. The smell is just so strong, but it smells so good. It just smells like Italian food. I love it. I love it, love it. And it's so easy to grow. Last year we did a full box of full box of basil, and it was just too much. We had more than we knew what to do with. We did preserve a lot, but when you have so much of an herb, you kind of run out of options, run out of things you can do with it. Alrighty, we got inside, we got our basil washed, and I pulled out all of the other ingredients that we'll need. Couldn't forget the cheese. And so the recipe that we're gonna be using today is one that we use pretty much all the time. And it calls for 2 cups of basil, half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan or Romano or any sort of aged cheese like that, half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, a third of the cup of pine nuts. If you don't have pine nuts though, you can use almonds. That's what we're gonna be using. You can also use walnuts, which are a really good substitute. So pine nuts, almonds, walnuts, any of those will work perfectly. And then 2 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, and then it's not in the recipe, but we like to add just a teaspoon of lemon juice. It kind of gives it that nice little pop, that freshness flavor. So with all of these now, I'm actually going to blend up the almonds first because those will be kind of the trickiest and will take the most time, and then I will add in all the other ingredients. So let's do a 2/3 cup of almonds because I'm doubling the recipe. Nice. This is our new blender / food processor that we got. I'm really excited. It works really well. I think I'm going to be releasing a video soon about a review. So we're going to put in, so the recipe calls for 2 cups, but we're doubling it. So I have 4 cups of basil here. I'm going to throw the garlic cloves in there. Nice and wet. And then we have a cup of cheese. Do a cup of extra virgin olive oil. The beautiful thing about pesto too is it's so flexible. Right, like I said, you could exchange walnuts or almonds if you don't have pine nuts. You could even do onion tops, green onion tops instead of basil for pesto. I'm sure you could probably do some other green too. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of plug and play, and whatever combination you like the best, that's what you can make. So we got the virgin olive oil in there, the garlic. We're gonna do a teaspoon. There we go. Do a teaspoon of salt. And we're also going to do a teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm going to actually do a teaspoon and a half, just to give it a little bit more pop. All right. So with all of those ingredients in there, we're going to start slow. And then I will turn the speed up a little bit and we'll see how it goes. It's looking pretty good. I might just push, yeah, there's some chunks kind of on the outside there. So I'm just gonna grab something to push it down a little. All right, let's do a taste test, shall we? It's looking really good though. Very good, very good, very good. Honestly, I probably could have put a little bit more basil in there because some of the other flavors, like I'm really tasting the cheese and the garlic, but it's delicious. And this is something, if you don't use pesto a lot, pasta is delicious on bread, on sandwiches. You could even put it over like a chicken breast or a steak, something like that. And it's just such a light, refreshing, tasty sauce condiment thing for summertime. So the last thing, how we preserve it, and this is actually really important, we like to use these little cups. I think they are maybe like quarter pint, maybe half pint containers. And the reason we like to do this size is because we found that if we do a full pint, so a lot of people are familiar with this size, we won't go through it in time fast enough. And so if you open it up after it's been frozen and you unthaw it, and you don't go through it, it goes quickly super bad, or super quick. If you don't go through it quick enough, it goes bad. There it is. Words are hard sometimes. So we like the half pint size. It just works well. Couple of other kind of tips. It's best to freeze pesto because of the cheese and the dairy in there. It's really, really hard to can. You can't water bath can it. If you're gonna can it, you have to pressure can it, and it has to be a very, very specific recipe that we use. And since we didn't use that recipe, we're just gonna freeze it. It's easy to pop into the microwave or to let thaw for an hour or so, and it's just as delicious after frozen as it is fresh. So I'm going to load these up and pop these in the freezer, and we have some pesto ready to go for a later date. Pesto. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this was a helpful video, and if you've never made pesto before, try it. It is delicious. My name is Austin. This is the Cypress and Sparrow Homestead. I will see you in the next video. Peace.